What's key is that, that's great. And what's key is that's everything we've done so far and everything we've talked about. That just brings us up to date for today. It doesn't take into account development and architecting for the future or securing the future, because security, we cannot consider it a destination. It's a journey. It doesn't have a final state. As technology develops, companies grow, security needs to adapt and grow with it. If you don't develop your technological advances, you don't develop your security along with your technological advances, then your current protections will be rendered obsolete. This can be seen just in the development between passwords to multi-factor authentication to passwordless authentication. That same concept exists not just on identities, but also on data protections. And there's a lot of advanced data protection strategies that are beginning to be formed and coming into play today and tomorrow. The first of that is trainable classifiers. We briefly mentioned that earlier. What that is it's an interactive development tool that allows the AI behind the Microsoft Purview environment to actually take a seed set of data and learn how businesses use that data. So instead of working off of a defined pattern or list or 7 numbers in a row, 16 numbers in a row, it's going to instead look at, hey, this type of data with these quantifications and developments, this is a financial document. And because this is an interactive learning, the AI gets that development from your users saying, yes, it's valid. No, this is not valid. And it begins to build that database behind it and that concepts of how to classify data through actual utilization. In addition to that, as companies are growing and there's this more globalization and modernization and what we refer to as data sovereignty, you can set up information barriers, which is setting up data limitations based on the network segmentation. So if I have this segment, which is in the EU, and I need to ensure that none of my EU data due to GDPR restrictions leaves the EU, or I want to be certain that this data for this company is just part of the DoD contract that we have, it cannot be exposed anywhere. You can set data limitations ensuring that in order to access, view, share, or even have that data go anywhere, it can only be limited to that microsegment of network that you control. And that is really important as we have global networks and global environments, and companies are looking to secure the data sovereignty of their data moving forward. One of the newest pieces coming up is what is called adaptive policies. This is a real-time monitoring of user interactivity with data, and it will actually adjust the data protection policies to the risk level of the user at that time. So if you have somebody that is put in their resignation that will trigger a IRM, then that in turn will actually raise the risk level because they've said that they're leaving, to ensure that they're not going to be leaving with company data. It can prevent company data coming down. It can also trigger on activities such as somebody locally loading up a bunch of data, changing the name, and changing the level of classification on it, moving it to a personal file, or moving it to a personal OneDrive, or moving it offline to a thumb drive. That type of activity will cause a trigger, which then will lock them down and lock them from being able to do things and send out notifications. It doesn't interfere with anybody else. It only really impacts the risk level of the user individually and it's done at a real-time state. So you're not sitting there in 2 weeks trying to figure out what happened. It's being proactive in locking it, and instead you're getting that phone call or you're having that conversation at a much higher level of, hey, should we let this through, instead of where did it go? And finally is a new product that's coming out there as part of or associated with Purview, which is called Priva. Now this is specializing on PII information that companies store, not just employee PII information, but as large companies are maintaining this data about their customers, phone numbers, addresses, etc. This secures that data itself and manages it at scale to ensure that as privacy regulations and compliance policies are being updated, you as a company are keeping up with them and not becoming vulnerable to a lawsuit or any type of regulation violation, because your products are securing your customers' data securely, especially things around HIPAA or any other PII information that's out there. And this is really big for the medical, but it also comes into any type of subscription service where you don't necessarily want to have a data breach exposing your client information, thereby ruining your reputation or saying that you're a poor fit for a company and you're not securing or looking out for your customers' best interests. All of this together comes to, kind of is what we're looking at in today's realm of data. Now, in turn, what we're looking at then is how data goes. So in summary, data is evolving. How we use it, how we define it, and where the risk of it is, where companies is changing. It's changing rapidly. And as we're putting more and more usage of data, more and more dependency on what information we're gathering, what information we're utilizing, and how information is shared, the risk and exposure of it is increasing geometrically. Every new technological advancement, every change in a business practice is going to cause a risk to raise its head, and it will have to be addressed. And really, security teams have to be vigilant about that, and they want to be ahead of those changes. So we know change is inevitable. We know that the usage of data within environments around the world is going to be increasing more and more. And we know with the technological developments around things such as ChatGPT, products that are out there that are doing big data searches, we have to be ahead of it. It's always better to be ahead of the curve than to be caught behind the curve, especially in the security realm. And for that, here at Valorum Reply, we've been utilizing successfully for our clients Microsoft's Purview product line, from everything from where and how and identifying their data, all the way through to how they're protecting and utilizing the data and beginning that journey, as well as then setting that journey up for the next generation of technological advances, aligning with Microsoft's and Microsoft's developments in those areas. I do want to thank you for your time. It was brief. There's a lot more, but if there's anything else that is involved in this, you feel free to reach out to myself, Stephen Lazara, at stlazara@reply.com. And if you wish to discuss with us about anything that we can do to help you or your company, or if there's just questions or just to discuss about data in general, please feel free to reach out. This is something that I enjoy and I love, and here at Valorum, we look for and really are utilizing people from across the globe to indulge and develop it. Thank you again. Have a good day.